This week on Previews World Weekly, Nightwing celebrates 100 issues, artificial intelligence is stealing our jobs, and Spider-Man gets Cine-dusted. I promise we'll figure out what that means. It's all happening right now on Previews World Weekly. Take me anywhere.
What's up, Previews World? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day, which means it's time for Previews World Weekly. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood, aka the Duchess of Free Comic Book Day. Not too relevant right now because it's the off season,
but it's always good to remind.
Got to keep up on the branding.
Right. Yeah. Right. You got to remind people of the fact that you're royalty.
Exactly.
It's very important. But it is Halloween Comic Fest.
It is.
What do you got for us this week?
All right. So. We've been celebrating all month long digital comics every week, creator interviews, we've done cosplayer interviews, but kind of like my moment of brilliance, the thing I'm most proud of are these brackets. Yeah. This Monster Mash bracket and the Sugar High bracket. They're in full swing. The Monster Mash bracket's getting ready to wrap up. This one started first, so we're in the quarterfinals. Later today we'll do Victor Crowley versus Hannibal Lecter, but tomorrow starts the semifinals. And it is a classic matchup that I need your immediate answer on.
Okay, I'm into this.
All right, you got to weigh in. Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, geez. You know, actually, can I just say this real quick?
Yeah.
There were a string of versus movies that came out at one point in time. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if Alien versus Predator came first. I guess, I don't know, John, you might want to source this for me. But whatever it was, there was a string of them. Mm-hmm. Freddy versus Jason is probably one of the better ones. Probably, might be the best one, actually, now I think about it. I just think it's really entertaining. That said, I always got to go with Freddy Krueger. I just feel like he's OP. Like
he is.
Like you just run the gamut with him. Like he is the stuff of dreams and nightmares. Like actually, that's funny. It's gonna circle back to something we're gonna talk about later in the show. But yeah, I'm gonna say Freddy.
Johnny.
What?
Are you listening?
Are you paying attention?
You told me to look up for like Alien versus Predator and Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah. Which one came first?
Oh, good lord. I get no respect around here.
This is producer Johnny Rose.
Freddy versus Jason came out in 2003. Alien versus Predator came out in 2004.
Oh,
okay. All right.
It's only separated by year.
Freddy versus Jason's first.
Okay, gotcha. All right, cool.
So what you're asking when it comes to Freddy versus Jason, who do I prefer?
Yeah.
I've always preferred Freddy Krueger.
All right.
Man. All right, okay.
I have a sneaking suspicion that as we kind of like head towards the end of this, that Freddy might win. Because he's blown out all. Granted, he hasn't really had. I mean, like he had Pinhead, and I can't remember who he had after that. Michael Myers. He blew both of those out, and those are both classic.
Like, was it like by a wide margin?
Pinhead, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. See,
it's like 80-20.
Wow. Geez. I would have considered Pinhead to be a formidable opponent.
Yeah, so did I. That's why I put him together, because I figured he'd blow out anybody else. I didn't want to put him against Jason right off the bat.
Okay. I mean, this is also a popularity contest. Let's not.
It is. 100%
Let's not act like it isn't. So that's fine. But yeah, Halloween Comic Fest. You want to remind them one more time?
Yeah, it's going on all month long. You can celebrate with us online. It's a virtual event, so it'll be HalloweenComicFest.com and Halloween Comic Fest, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you've got a hot take. Somebody was yelling about Mike and Ike's the other day.
I'm not interested in anybody has a strong opinion about Mike and Ike.
Like the poll was Sour Patch Kids versus Mike and Ike's, and somebody was like, "If you pick Mike and Ike's, let me know because I'm gonna unfollow you right now." And I was like, "Okay, yes, sir."
I mean, Mike and Ike's are kind of like a nothing candy. I feel like that's my own personal hot take, I guess. Sorry, guys.
They're mostly just jelly beans in a different shape.
Yeah, I also don't like jelly beans.
That's fair.
I'm not a fan of jelly beans.
They all kind of taste the same to me.
Yeah, exactly. Like even though they're different flavors, I guess.
They're supposed to be.
Supposed to be. They all taste kind of, just kind of like all like grape and plasticky. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird. I don't
Cherry
know.
wax.
Yeah. Anytime I've been on like a date or something like that, and someone's like gone for Mike and Ike's, I'm like, okay, this isn't going to go very well. So anyway,
Doomed from the start.
Doomed from the start.
Comments.
Comments.
Okay.
What's going on? Comments.
We have our good friend Andy Fox checking in. I'm here for the witty repartee.
Oh, we are witty.
She accused us of being witty. I like that.
DJ
man.
Young saying, hey, hey.
That's the easiest
What's
way
up?
to get on and get featured in the comments.
It is.
And Andy saying, Johnny, is that a classic Star Wars mustache? No, that is not. That is left over from my Weird Al Yankovic costume.
It is
Why
a classic
Why
Weird
is it a
Al.
classic Star Wars mustache? Which makes it classic. Interesting.
Is someone at Star Wars have that mustache?
Yeah, who
Like
is that?
Lando.
I guess.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess that's it.
Hello.
Lando's
What
got
have
a
we
really
here?
serious mustache.
He does. You know what? I've been saying this for years and I've never done it. I want to cosplay as Lando for Halloween. And I've
That'd
never
be
done it.
so good.
And I'm like, that would be perfect, but I just never done it. And so I'm not going to do it this year because it's too late.
Yeah, fair.
But one year I will do it. I swear I will. Things we saw last week. Just run down this real quick. I caught this Kid Cudi movie called Intergalactic.
Those are two things I never thought I'd hear in the same sentence.
Yeah, but I think I love it.
Okay.
Like it's not sci-fi. It's not actiony at all.
Okay.
It's actually about relationships.
Okay. I'm with it.
I don't know if everyone will get this reference. It kind of reminds me of a movie called Love Jones that came out in the 90s, just a little bit. But yeah, it's a total departure for me. Like it's just got these stunning visuals. I thought this was from the same animation studio that did Spider-Verse,
Yeah, I can see why you say that.
but it is not.
Huh.
And I
Wow.
guess that's because you can't own really. I was a little shocked by that, but like I guess you can't really own a animation style.
Sure.
But it definitely like reminded me of that for sure, and I think that's why some people might even tune in for it. But normally I need killing and violence. If you want to sustain my interest,
I need the gore.
but this was actually pretty cool, and I mean there's some it's called Intergalactic, so there's these kind of moments where he gets high and like they start doing all these cool like him flying through space and all this other stuff, and that's kind of like that kind of bridges some of the story together.
Okay.
But it really is just maybe a romantic comedy.
Really?
Not like funny haha, but it does
Yeah.
have like genuinely
doesn't-
funny moments in it.
Okay, it doesn't
And
take
it's
itself seriously.
Way more clever than I thought it was going to be too. Just a really well made thing.
How did you find this?
You know what's actually doubly funny is I was going to sleep and I was like, let me just put this on and I'll probably just doze off on it. I ended up watching the whole thing.
Nice.
Like I just was like, I did it by the end. It was only an hour and a half, and I ended up watching the entire thing. So that to me is like a testament of like it is
Yeah,
good because
got
it
your
kept my
attention.
attention. And then I rewatched it because I thought it was really cool. So I watched it twice now. It's on Netflix, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. But yeah, Intergalactic. I recommend it.
Annie's checking in again. She says, in terms of the Star Wars mustaches, Wedge Antilles.
That's what.
Does he?
Does he?
I thought he did. Or it was either him or Biggs. One of them did.
Biggs. Yeah. Okay. I think it's something I feel like I would know off the top of my head, but
I don't think he does.
I thought Wedge was already kind of clean shaven.
Yeah, he is.
One of the other guys had like a mustache like Johnny though. I thought.
Yeah, one of the other pilots.
Okay.
Big Star Glider, right? Yep.
What do you say?
It
that
is?
was?
Big Star Glider.
Big Star Glider.
Hey, don't laugh at me. That's his name.
I mean, no, it's very Star Wars. I did not deny that it was definitely his name.
I live for names in the Star Wars galaxy.
I mean, that's the greatest thing about it, right? That's part of the fun. I kind of feel. It's like
Yes.
when they have a really good Star Wars name, it's like that's a good Star Wars name. I like that. All right, I just did a recommendation, but we should get on to comics, right?
Oh yeah, more recommendations.
More recommendations, exactly. So here it is. It's new release Wednesday. Let's get it. All right, 1, 2, 3. Not it. I did it too, and I was behind. So, okay. Anyway, all right, this is it. It's Deadly
This
Class.
is it.
Final
It's
issue
not a
Deadly
Michael
Class.
Jackson reference.
No,
Got
it's
it.
not a Michael
Alright,
Jackson
never mind.
reference. But it's the final issue of Deadly Class is this week.
Oh my God.
So let me ask you this. This is kind of a weird question. Do you have a sort of ritual for the finale of something? Like, like something's going to end, so you kind of try to savor the last bit of it?
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
I'm in that phase of Deadly Class now. I actually was reading the final arc, which is called A Fond Farewell.
Oh.
And this is like part 7 is the last part of it, I believe. But this is Deadly Class number 56, by the way. And I kind of like got halfway through it, and I was like, oh, wait, this is going to be over in 4 issues. I was like, I just want to read all 4 issues back to back to back. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm in that mode now. It's almost like grieving, I guess.
Yeah, no, that is so true though. You know when you spend all of your time reading a book and you get
Right.
so invested into that world and those characters and you feel like you're a part of it, and then you finish it and you have like this hangover from
Right,
it.
yeah. It's sort of like, it's just like this post, I don't know what it is, right?
Yeah.
But I totally get you. And that's kind of where I am with Deadly Class right now. I'm like, okay, this is going to end. I need to go ahead and just pace this out. Things have gone in an unexpected direction for the final arc. We've jumped ahead to play catch up with these characters as adults.
Okay,
which
right.
I wasn't expecting, truthfully, but I mean, it makes complete and total sense. They were going to a school for assassins. Ultimately, I thought they were going to graduate, and then we would see what immediately happens next, but they actually just jumped ahead because things went to absolute crap.
Oh,
While
nice.
before they even graduated. Marcus and Maria are cohabitating. Marcus is retired from being an assassin, which means, of course, he will inevitably become an assassin.
Of course,
again, right?
requirement. Got to come out of retirement.
Right. Maria has a debilitating sickness, which is actually kind of interesting too. They've already stormed the King's Dominion, which is the school for assassins,
Right.
and tried to exact their revenge on the headmaster. And it looks like some of the more villainous kids are in political positions now as adults.
That checks out.
Right, exactly, right. So we're basically jumping about, like, I want to say about 30 years. So so the book was in the 80s. Definitively, the book was in the 80s. I think it got maybe up to like 1989.
Okay.
And then we jumped forward to the 90s for a little bit, and now we're definitely in the 2000s.
Okay.
And now Marcus has definitely rallied together some of the other students who have misgivings about going to that school, right? But yeah, it's really interesting. It's not at all what I expected, but at the same time, it's exactly what the book needs.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So I'm glad that I'm still on the edge of my seat reading this book up until the very end. I also will point out that A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance by Rick Remender is also out. If because I know I'm going to have this post-mortem.
You got to fill that hole. I know the
Right.
feeling. I know what you're talking about.
So for those of you who are also in the same boat with me, A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance from Image Comics, written by Rick Remender. Doesn't have art by Wes Craig, but it does have great art. And Wes Craig is also doing Kaya.
right.
At Image
Talked about that
Comics,
last
which I have not read the first issue yet, but I've heard very good things about, and I am going to definitely read. So that's from the writer and artist of Deadly Class, for those of you who are playing catch up. But yeah, just pacing it out now, man.
Are you anticipating a satisfying wrap up?
This book has been consistently satisfying.
Okay. Good.
And it's one of those, which is rare in itself, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that I remember reading, it's also one of the few books that still has a letters page. And so I think that if I remember correctly, Remender had mentioned at the end of the letters page, like, we knew what the ending was for years. Now, people always say that, right?
Okay, yeah.
Like, George Lucas said that. But I kind of believe them just because the way that things have kind of played out, it's just been very...
Intentional,
It
maybe?
just feels very deliberate, very intentional. Like there's themes that kind of fold in on themselves. There's elements of it that just kind of circle back. I love that stuff. I'm a sucker for that stuff.
Right.
I always want the full circle at the end. So
Sure.
yeah. But yeah, Deadly Class number 56 in comic shops today. Final issue. Go get the trades if you haven't read the book, because it's just a great series. So
They should collect it into like a compendium or an
they
omnibus.
actually have been doing those.
They
They've been
have,
doing
okay.
like little oversized hardcover volumes.
Yeah.
It's actually how I first read it. So yeah, check it out. It's good. It's in comic shops today. What's your pick
right.
this week, Ashton?
My pick this week is Arden High 12th Grade Night. And when I picked this, I realized I'm an easy target.
I saw this cover and I was like, this has Ashton written on it.
Yeah, I'm an easy target. Like, I looked at this for a minute, I read the synopsis, and I was like, damn it, I always pick the same things over and over again. I'm like, this guy on the cover is like weirdly reminiscent of Jughead, like similar type vibe.
I thought it was an Archie book actually when I first glanced at it. I was
Right.
like, is it? Oh, it's Jughead. Okay. I
You
know
got
it.
me there. Yeah. And then the synopsis said for fans of Heartstopper, so I was like, all right.
Oh, jeez. They got you definitely where you live.
Yup.
Okay.
Yep. So I have to read it. It's a YA book, but I love YA books because they always seem to capture some sort of like fundamental truth about ourselves. Because it just kind of cuts down to the bone of like what it means to be a person and interact with other people and find your way in the world. Also, they're incredibly relatable in that like you read about like 16, 17, 8-year-olds doing just like the most cringe things,
Yeah.
and you reflect on it. You're like, damn, I was also cringe
I
at
too was
17.
cringe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this one's got like your it's kind of tropey, right? It's got a love triangle, like the whole miscommunication, mistaken identity, all of that. This person likes that person likes this person, whatever. But
It's always a good gimmick.
it's a good gimmick. I'm into it, and it always works perfectly in YA books. If I read like a book with older characters, they're in like their 20s or their 30s, and there's miscommunications, I'm like, please just open your mouth and say something. Stop being a child. But when it's actual children, I'm like, yes, I get it, because I was also a baby at 16. So
All right.
I'm very excited for this. Also, Heartstopper's on hiatus right now. She was working on the 5th volume, which is the last volume. And then she took a break to film, and it's been kind of on hiatus. So this will also fill that hole perfectly, the void in my soul.
All right, good timing, good timing. Is it a Disney book? I think I saw that on the...
Yeah.
That's crazy, okay. No, that's interesting. That's very interesting. I swore that character in the middle was Jughead at one point in time. I was like, oh, it's an Archie book. No, you know, it's funny. You mentioned this, like, you know, the raw emotions on that's Deadly Class. Like it's way more violent than this book is.
But it's the same. They're trying to say the same kind of thing. Very much the same idea.
Yeah. Like, you know, like how it cuts to the bone of like who we are as people, and that is fully loaded in like these last couple issues.
Yeah.
All right, comics. They're cool and they're great, but they're not the only thing at your local comic shop. Here's Natasha with the Previews Toy Chest. When we come back, we'll do some news. Let's do it.
Natasha here to give you a look inside the Previews Toy Chest. Let's find out what's available at comic shops for the week of October 19th, 2022. Be sure to check with your local comic shop for availability. And to see more, head over to PREVIEWSworld.com/toychest. There you'll feast your eyes on more hot new collectibles.
And I know she said at the end already, but you can see all of those and the comics and the graphic novels and the apparel, just everything and more, just more, at PREVIEWSworld.com/new releases. And if you're sitting there and you're looking at the video and you're like, damn it, I missed out on all this stuff, then you should get Previews World pull boxes as well. I got to point that out, right?
Facts.
It's an easy way to reserve something with your local comic shop. You get to do it from the comfort of your home or your phone or whatever, you know what I mean? So Previews World pull box, PREVIEWSworld.com/pullbox. Jump on over, sign up, make sure your local comic shop is also participating, and get ahead of everything. Because there's going to be a new catalog next week, guys. I'm just letting you know. So
Oh my God, that's
there's
true.
a new previews next week, so it's a whole new slew of new things that you need to like pre-order. So definitely keep an eye out for that.
Comment.
Comments. What's up, comments?
We have Annie checking in saying she reads young adult too. She still considers herself young adult.
Same.
I do feel like that's kind of the weird secret of, not weird, but like that's the secret of YA books.
Yeah.
It's like you also, like, yes, they're for young adults, but they're also for people who just kind of still feel like young at heart, I guess is the way to put it, you know what I mean? So I do think that that's definitely a thing, Annie, 100%. Anything else, Johnny? We're good? All right. Let's get into some news, because this is actually some interesting stuff this week that I kind of caught my attention. So Ashton's going to take it away. Here we go. News time.
News time.
I lost my train of thought while I was saying that sentence. And I was like, I'm gonna keep talking. I'll find it. I
You
swear.
found it. It's all right. You're back. You're back. It happens.
I will have 2 covers for Nightwing number 100. It'll come in black and white and a colored version. So the black and white version is your standard cover, your cover A, however you want to call it, your main cover. The colored version is a 1 in 150 variant. So it's gonna be a little harder to get your hands on. It looks really dope. It's a kind of, you can see a collaboration of a couple different illustrations of him that have been collected and reprinted. It's coming out the end of this year. Just kidding. Beginning of next year, January 17th. Just kidding. And again, you're gonna want to pre-order this. You can get this through Pullbox. I think that's something we kind of try to hit home. You can still get the DC stuff through Pullbox. And try and talk to your comic shop if you want to get that color cover. That's going to be a challenge.
That's going to be a tough one,
Ask them if they can maybe hang on to that for you.
No, I mean, I know that's kind of that. Okay, so that admittedly, that's kind of the catch with these variant covers, right? It really is up to your local comic shop on how many they ordered, and also kind of like if they want to give it to you for cover price, because that kind of happens too. So you always have to double check with some of these variants to make sure that they're attainable. That's a real thing. So what else is going on? This one is kind of nuts to me. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, this one caught me by surprise yesterday when you mentioned it. I wasn't even aware of it until you said something. So Whatnot Publishing has acquired Heavy Metal. They'll become an imprint of Whatnot Publishing in a new co-publishing agreement. Heavy Metal will continue to package their own content, and Whatnot Publishing will release it to the trade. So that includes kind of a slew of different publishing things, so magazines, floppies, and books, like a traditional book.
Oh, okay.
And Heavy Metal will remain an independent company and retain all of their rights.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense, right.
So when asked for clarification, the co-founder of Whatnot, Michael Calero, he clarified that for local comic book shops and other specialty retailers, Heavy Metal will function as an imprint of Whatnot Publishing. For newsstands and the book market, they'll manage and continue to distribute Heavy Metal's existing partnerships through Simon & Schuster.
Cool. Yeah, I just was really surprised by that. I actually have only recently, because of our jobs, actually, I've only recently become aware of Whatnot as a platform.
Yeah.
Right, because publishing print is not really their thing, but it's becoming their thing now.
Right.
So yeah, it's very interesting. And also, we just shouted out Ninja Funk on the show like about a couple of weeks ago, which I'm really excited for. So I don't know, I love Heavy Metal, so it's just more greatness coming my way.
All in the same spot.
All right, let's talk about this Spider-Man Cinnamon Toast Crunch thing.
Yes.
Because this is kind of amusing. All right, so General Mills is doing a limited edition Spider-Man cereal box. I should point out, it is Spider-Man's 60th anniversary.
Okay.
Right. And
60th?
60th, yeah, 60th.
Seems like that number should be way higher.
Actually, am I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong on that. Johnny, can you double check that for me?
Johnny, do some
'Cause
math.
I feel like that should be way higher, actually.
Right?
Or maybe not. Maybe not.
Actually, maybe it just seems.
Maybe it just seems like
it.
yeah, no, it's 1962. And when I was in the 90s, I remember they had this anniversary, and it was the 30th anniversary. So yeah, there you go.
All right.
He's just been so prevalent.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the box features Amazing Fantasy number 15 from 1962.
Okay.
And it's limited to, catch this, 1,962 boxes. So
Clever.
And you can only get it at Walmart, which actually apparently is starting tomorrow.
Why Walmart?
I guess it got an exclusive deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, so tomorrow I can go start scouring Walmarts.
Yeah, right. You could. I mean, there's one right across the street. Actually, I just read about that.
Actually, I think you have to order online from Walmart.
Oh, it has to be it's online only.
I believe so, yes.
So I get on Walmart.com, I type in Spider-Man cereal, and I order it?
I'm assuming so.
Okay.
We'll see. That's actually kind of less fun, I kind of feel.
Right?
I don't know.
Send everyone out on a wild goose chase.
Right, yeah, to get these cereal boxes, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, this is the 60th anniversary. The boxers going for $10. I guess it's a little bit more than the average
I would say
Cinnamon
for
Toast
sure.
Crunch or cereal box. I haven't purchased cereal in a long time, I gotta be honest. I'm at old man status.
I love cereal.
I love cereal too. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with cereal now. I was actually going to ask you this. When's the last time you had a kid's breakfast cereal? So when I say kids, I don't mean Corn Flakes and Raisin Bran don't count.
What about like Frosted Flakes? Tony the Tiger. They're more than good. They're great.
They're great. I'd say that's a kid's breakfast cereal.
I had some Frosted Flakes over the summer.
Okay.
I was on vacation. I was like, I need some cereal.
I mean, why
This
the hell not?
one.
I mean, why the hell not? I always have these moments where I'm in the grocery store and I'm like, I'm gonna buy this cereal and eat it, and I'm just like, you're not even gonna make it past like a bowl. Like your teeth are gonna start hurting. Like you're gonna feel like crap afterwards.
And break out the Captain Crunch.
Yeah,
It's
oh
just
my
straight
god.
sugar.
Jeez. I mean, well, that used to be my thing. I used to love Captain Crunch.
Yeah.
The Crunch Berries, I used to love that. I also like Golden Crisp. I don't even know if they make that anymore.
I'm not even
They make
familiar.
what?
Golden Crisp, Sugar Bear.
Oh no, I thought you said Golden Grams.
No, well,
I
I
had
mean
that
Golden
yesterday.
Grams.
I had that yesterday.
Nice.
Well, Johnny, you got a kid, so you have an excuse. Or was it actually just for you?
No, it was because of it.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, I forgot about Golden Grams. Cinnamon Toast Crunch also high on that list. Got to be real with you on that one.
Oh yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch it's just sugar.
It's just sugar, right? And I mean, yeah, like I'm definitely at an age where I'm like, I just cannot have that much sugar in my body at any given time. It's just not fun anymore.
You're old. What's
I'm
the one
old.
that's Lucky Charms?
Lucky Charms? You know, I'm kind of 50-50 on Lucky Charms. I'm not crazy about it.
This is how I know I'm an actual toddler. I don't care at all for the actual cereal part of the
You just want the
cereal. I
marshmallows?
just want the marshmallows.
Jeez. I mean that kind of tracks actually, because I remember that being part of the fun when you were a kid as well, right? Yeah.
Well, here's my question
What's up?
though: is will this Spider-Man cereal? Do you think it's going to be as popular as Loki Charms?
Stop.
That's not a real thing, right?
No, that is a real thing.
Oh, it is?
Stop it
That was a
right
limited
now.
edition thing that came out when Disney Plus released Loki.
Oh, you know, I actually kind of love that. Actually, that's kind of great.
Oh, they missed an opportunity to make Mjolnir into one of the marshmallows.
They did actually. They should have. Well, you know, it's Loki's brand, but I understand what you mean. I 100% get what you mean. Yeah, no, you know, actually, and that reminded me. Do you remember the 1989 Batman cereal, Johnny?
No.
It was like basically like Captain Crunch. That's all it was.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And then I think there was a Ninja Turtles one that was like Lucky Charms.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
Like
but-
super vaguely. I also remember toys in cereal.
Right, which I don't think they do anymore.
No, lame.
Yeah, I guess they don't do that anymore. Actually, I wonder why they don't do that anymore.
I have no good answer.
There's probably some weird
Like a
legal,
choking hazard.
Yeah, some weird legal reason probably for why they don't do that anymore. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Like we mentioned this on the show, and you were super
Yeah.
excited about it.
I love it.
And clearly, we're just having a fun time talking.
They
about
should
it.
have put like a Spider-Man like imprint or made the cereal. I wanted them to make the
like little
cereal.
webs or something. I don't know.
Spider-Man
or a little
focused.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's had cereal before, right?
You could make a Spider-Man head
He's
in
had
a
his own
cereal.
cereal. He's definitely had his own cereal.
Yeah.
It's probably just like another Lucky Charms ripoff or something like that. But I'm sure.
No,
I'm like-
actually, here's an image of it.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's like Chex, but with marshmallows.
Oh,
It's like Chex with marshmallows.
sweetened rice cereal.
Sweetened rice cereal. Interesting.
Okay.
I don't remember that one.
I don't know
sorry.
that. I don't know. I don't
remember that one.
think I'd put my money towards that.
All right, so we're introducing a new segment that we realize we talk about these things so consistently that we should probably turn it into a segment of the show. So here it is. The future is now. Obey.
I'm concerned.
All right, so I don't know if it was glitching for you guys, but definitely it was glitching for us, but that's okay. We'll sort it out later. All right, look, we've been on this show plenty of times talking about evil robots, right?
Yes.
And now ultimately they're going to take over. We also talked about AI-generated comic books, right?
Yeah.
So a new offender has entered the arena.
Decline.
Right? So let me backtrack a little bit here because Kim Jong-il. Sorry. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Did I do that right? G. I definitely spelled that backwards. I'm an idiot. Kim Jong-gi. Sorry. I was like, wait a minute, egg. What the hell? Sorry, I definitely spelled that backwards.
I'm an idiot.
I'm an idiot. Kim Jong-gi died of a heart attack, right? We failed to broach this on the show.
Yeah.
He died at 47. This was the week of New York Comic Con.
Okay.
Like he's known for these massive, elaborate images that he would do basically literally from his brain to his fingers, he would just start painting and start drawing. And he would be on these massive canvases. Like there would be no sketches that he would do beforehand. He was just, the guy was just like, he was like a savant. Like he was it was just really impressive. Creators and publishers everywhere honored his memory. And I'm talking about everybody from Jim Lee to C.B. Cebulski. Of course, fans everywhere honored his memory as well. And this could have been but like the conversation took an interesting turn on October 7th.
Of course it did.
All right. So someone on Twitter who I guess it seems like maybe that person has been removed their tweet since then, announced that they trained an AI to draw in Kim Jong-il's style. This was like the next day. I want to point that out.
His body's not even cold yet.
He died like the day before, and then someone put this up online the next day. Of course, the reactions range from "this is poor taste,"
It is.
all right, to the AI is coming for us all.
Also
right?
true.
Also valid. And this is also the other, my personal favorite is like, this is soulless crap.
Also true. All three of those are right on the money. Yes.
So, I don't, Johnny, can you scroll down and actually show the actual image of the AI generated image? So that's his original artwork, and this is what AI did that was trained by this person, like the model for this person. And I definitely agree it's in poor taste. Like you could have waited a little bit, buddy. But I don't. Actually, the funny thing about this, I was thinking about this earlier. It's the inconvenience of technological advancements, and this is kind of like a good example of that, right? Sometimes we just get so far ahead of ourselves with these things that we're like, are we actually ready for this?
No, we're absolutely
Right.
not.
In this case, we definitely were not. But yeah, I don't know. What are your initial thoughts on this? I feel like I already know where you're coming from with this, but
Yeah, I hugely hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
now is it because it's in poor taste or just for larger reasons?
Well, I have many reasons. The first one is it's very much in poor taste, and it's incredibly disrespectful. Like the literal day after, like not even cold yet, and you're already figuring out how to reproduce something that he literally dedicated his life and his livelihood to,
Right, yeah.
and you've taken it upon yourself to undermine that.
Right.
By turning it into something simple and soulless, which leads me to my next point, which is art is at its very essence and its very core an expression of the human experience.
This is exactly what it is.
So how can you create something from artificial intelligence? It just doesn't have the same power. It just doesn't capture it. There's no humanity there, so how can you create art?
So what's really interesting about that? I've had this conversation before. It's actually an interesting extension of a previous conversation I've had. I've talked a lot about authorial intent on the show before, like how to me, I don't really care what the critic thinks or the reviewer thinks or whoever. I only care about what the creator has to say about their work.
Sure.
And to me, that's the Bible of that work, whatever it is. It could be a movie, a television show, a book. It doesn't matter what it is. And I've had people argue me down that like, no, kill the author. Like, once it goes into the zeitgeist, into the ether, like it instantly becomes up for grabs by the populace and like by the viewer, and so their interpretation matters as well. I don't agree with that. I'll be real with you. I just do not agree with that. But I think that's really interesting that you pointed out that art is a form of human expression, which obviously it is, right? But now we're programming AI to mimic, not even to express, to mimic what a human has done. And I think that's really interesting because in that we're kind of killing the author.
Yes, definitely.
And that's kind of wild to me. I literally just put that together right now. But yeah, it's really interesting. That to me makes me double down on, immediately I'm like, no, the intent of the author is all that matters.
Absolutely.
And I'm sorry, but the artificial intelligence has no intent outside of programming. So
it's not trying to say anything. It's not trying to make a commentary. It's not trying to express, I feel this way because of that, or this thing is great about humanity, bad about humanity. It's not trying to say anything. It's just running a script.
It's just running a script.
And to that end, I don't even think it makes it art, frankly. Like, you're mimicking something, that doesn't make it art. You're running an algorithm, that doesn't make it art. It just makes it an output.
No, and I agree with you. I think that, I'm sure people will argue that point. But, I think it's really interesting because I've always kind of taken the attitude of, I don't care if it's your kid's art on the refrigerator or if it's a Picasso or whatever. If there is a humanistic expression to it, it's art. I don't see the value. I grew up reading comics and watching movies, so I don't really see, and even film people, they kind of get, this is art, blah blah blah. But And, like, they do that a lot, actually. But, like, I've never had the attitude of, like, this is more artistic than this. You know what I mean? I know people do that, but I've never had that attitude. And I've always kind of hated that people do that, especially with comics. But yeah, this in particular is just sort of like, yeah. And I've seen a lot of people online kind of very upset about this. And I remember we were on the show a couple of weeks ago talking about AI art, and we were like, well, this isn't really a threat. But now, and we both were just like, I don't think this is that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But now, like, people are getting kind of concerned about this, which is really interesting. The other part of this that people are concerned about is these corporations will then just program AI to mimic the work of somebody else who's lucrative. Like, for example, let's say like a Todd McFarlane or a Jim Lee, right? And then they don't have to pay artists, real artists, to do the work. That to me actually seems plausible.
Ew. That just made my skin crawl.
Yeah, that seems really plausible to me. So,
like, you've taken one of the most basic things humans have done and have always done, and you've monetized it, and you've completely
extracted the human element.
Yeah, for lack of a better word, raped it for financial gain.
Yeah, that's real. That's absolutely right. I'm getting Jeff Goldblum Jurassic Park vibes from Ashton. And then you're selling it, no, absolutely. Johnny, I don't know if you had any thoughts on this, but
I do kind of, I kind of. And now this is kind of a bit of a stretch, but I'm thinking about what Andy Warhol did back in the day with his painting style, was how he was basically like screen printing art. So people questioned that and said that that wasn't really art because he wasn't actually doing the work. But it was his mind that kind of went through the process of doing this. So the screen printing is just a tool to do what he wanted it to do. So in a similar nature, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I can kind of see how people who are using AI to create art are using that as a tool in a similar method. So I'm devil's advocate.
Screen printing is a technology, that's for sure. I'm being serious. Like, that is a form of technology that kind of people didn't account for, and then Andy Warhol did something with it. You know, so I think you can play devil's advocate with that. I think that's.
You absolutely can.
Yeah. Ashton's like, but I don't buy it.
I could play devil's advocate, but I have no interest to.
I feel it.
I don't buy that. It's no.
Let us know what you guys think about it in the comments. Like, I'm actively unpacking this for the first time as we're talking about this.
Same.
I'm like, oh, that's not, because I've seen people get upset about it, but I haven't really delved into it. And now that we're talking about it, I'm like, oh, that's a little icky.
It is, and I'm immediately worried about, like, your point of taking art that you like or that it's popular and then just making artists irrelevant.
Yeah, right, which I think is very plausible. I think it's totally plausible. Like, I see maybe video games doing that first, actually, to be honest. Let's know what you guys think in the comments. We'll pop them up if you have any thoughts on this. In the meantime, let's jump ahead.
In the meantime, the future is now.
In the meantime, the future is now.
It's the obey.
It's the obey at the end. It's like just if we can't even say that we're not biased about any of these subjects at this point.
Right.
I think that intro just kills it every single time. But that was a new segment. The future is now. We'll probably be delving into this stuff again. I guarantee you. Just so many angles on this that are very interesting, as you can see. All right, trailers.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears. Let's switch to artists doing artistic things.
I love that.
All right, let's do it. Here's Dream Master from Black Box Comics. And when I come back, I'll tell you a little bit more about it. Check it out. So I'm gonna put you out there a little bit, Ashton. Only because like this, I actually did an interview with the creator on this. I noticed this too. One of the characters looks like Rorschach, right?
Yeah.
The main character looks like Rorschach. I actually asked the creator like, "What's that about?" And so I'm curious to see what his answer is because like I sent the questions off and he hasn't got. He sent them back to me. I haven't looked at them yet.
Okay.
But you can expect a Dream Master interview on Previews World in time for. Sorry, I'm about to burp. In time for the November 30th release of the comic. The concept here is there's a forgotten paladin who protects us from our nightmares while we sleep. Without him, we may never wake up again. He is the Dream Master. And so, you know, it's funny because we were talking about Freddy earlier, right?
Yeah.
This is the guy you want around when Freddy's like out there
Right.
stalking people's dreams, right? A little bit of Sandman too, I think a little bit in there.
Yeah,
You know,
for
so
sure.
yeah, just like it's an action, fantasy, horror, supernatural thing. Perfect for this time of the year, even though it's coming out in November. So reserve your copy. FOC already passed, but again, Previews World Pull Box, reserve a
Yep.
copy. Make sure that you get your copy when it drops on November 30th. All right, let's see how quickly we can do this. You have not watched She-Hulk, right?
No.
Yeah.
No, I had a friend that was like, this show's garbage. And I was like, all right, I'll save my time.
You might have been writing me in.
Oh, no! I didn't want to be.
But you know what? Let me not pepper this right now. Like, let me not put my own opinion on this. Johnny, what was your reaction to the final episode of She-Hulk without spoiling it? For
Okay,
people?
I actually liked it. Yeah, because I enjoyed how they adapted the fourth wall breaking into this medium.
Yeah.
So I like the novelty of it. I mean, it wasn't as in depth as like a full blown Marvel movie would be, but that's fine. I mean, it wasn't supposed to be that.
Yeah.
So for what it was, I think that they took a big swing and it landed with me. So I liked it.
I mean, so here's my thing, and I don't want to spoil it because like it just dropped last week.
Okay.
But there is a fourth. They do the fourth wall break, and I see your point, Johnny. 100% see your point. I came away from it thinking like, okay, that's kind of clever and also that's accurate to the comics. This is what the comics have done. But there's also kind of this like, well, we've been following certain threads through the entire season, and now you're kind of like cutting through all that to just address the audience directly and not give us a finale.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So I have some. Yeah, it's not that I hated it. I did not
Okay.
hate it. Like in terms of all the Marvel shows, I pointed this out earlier. Falcon and Winter Soldier is probably my favorite still.
Oh, really?
Probably followed by Werewolf by Night and Hawkeye. But
Surprised to not hear WandaVision.
yeah, you know, I didn't like Loki.
He didn't like Loki. I loved Loki.
Yeah, I didn't care for Loki that much. It kind of lost me after a while. I don't know what it was. But yeah, like all of them kind of have a finale problem.
Yes.
They all kind of have like an ending problem. And this was no different. But WandaVision, I think in particular, kind of really annoyed me with the ending. I was way into it,
Right.
literally until the last episode. And I was like, I don't know. I had this moment where I was like, did you guys run out of money? Like, what happened here? Like, it just kind of got awkward after a while.
You weren't the only one that felt that way either.
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
people were a little let down by the way that wrapped up.
Right way it wrapped up. But yeah, so, I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments of that She-Hulk finale, guys. We're going to push on. It's time for your own segment, Ashton.
I get my own
You
segment.
get your own segment now. So we're putting Social Swamp to the side for a little bit because Ashton's gonna be doing these polls for us, and we always get a lot of traction out of them, right?
Oh,
I
wait,
think
can we do a couple comments first?
Yeah,
Oh,
please.
sure.
Yeah, let's jump in there.
Yeah, so let me go back here. Annie said that you can get just the Lucky Charms marshmallows by themselves.
Don't tell
seems
me that.
painful. I'm sorry. That seems like your dentist does not recommend that.
You gotta exercise some self-control.
Right, you can exercise some self-control, please.
Stan is saying AI usage for expanding on your own art feels like pushing the limits, but AI usage to replace artists feels like stepping over the boundaries, and
Yeah.
that's fair.
I think
Yeah,
that's fair.
I definitely agree
think
with
that's
that.
fair.
Annie also saying, I vote to keep it real, my money and time to actual human artists.
Yes.
Yep. Co-signed.
She says like, she liked the first few episodes of She-Hulk, but that's where she'll leave it.
Damn. All right.
Thank you, Andy. Again, it wasn't awful. It wasn't bad. It was just sort of like, all right, well.
And Stan saying the fourth wall was just too much in the last episode, considering how infrequent it was used in the other episodes. I felt like the leg in the last episode was just an extra.
Yeah. I kind of co-signed that too with Stan. Like it was, they didn't utilize that as much as they could have.
Okay.
And so yeah, by the end it kind of felt, for me, it kind of felt like, okay, well, I don't know, I felt like a little cheap. You know, a little cheap.
Okay.
A little cheap.
Oh, and you have your own personal troll back. Mystical Green Beanie is back. Saying Disney Plus, written by Warren Ellis and directed by Stephen King.
I'm gonna start
don't
requiring
understand.
that he provide context for
Yes,
all of
I don't
his.
even understand that joke.
He's just in here leaving just
Just dropping bombs and then walking away.
right.
I feel like Joaquin Mystical Green Beanie, you should check out his channel. His channel's, he has good insight. I want to point this out, but he loves to troll. He really does love to troll. But it's all in good fun. But yeah, Joaquin's been on the show before, Mystical Green Beanie. And he loves to torture.
He was out of pocket.
Yeah, he just likes being out of pocket. I don't know. It is what it is, all right? What's up, Mystical Green Beanie? All right, let's get into some asinine. Speaking of out of pocket, let's get into some asinine. I actually saw this one today, so I don't know if it's going to be as controversial, but
Okay.
maybe it will be. We'll see. Let's do it. Asinine arguments with Ashton. I love how that is. It just runs the gamut of all your emotions. Like, if you're working with Ashton, you see all those faces at any given time. I just want to point that out. I'm sorry. It's just so accurate. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut into your segment.
I have absolutely no poker face. Like someone says something dumb and you can just immediately
see it across her face. It's okay. It's how you know you can trust Ashton.
Yeah. So as Troy pointed out, my goal with these polls is always to stir the pot. Like, I'm always just aiming as high as I can in terms of like what is going to get everybody riled and get everyone's feathers ruffled. So this one, it's a little festive. It's the wrong kind of festive, but I just couldn't hang on to it. I needed to ask it now.
Okay.
So my question is Santa Claus, Kris Kringle, Saint Nick, if you will, more OP than Superman?
Man, you know, actually, damn it. Now, you know what? Now I got to troll you a little bit on this. You know what I'm going to say.
Magic.
Right, exactly. Exactly. He's magic. Santa's magic. Superman, I don't even know if that's true anymore, but Superman is susceptible to magic. I'll just put that. I'll
Okay,
just say it like that.
but being susceptible to magic or weakened by magic doesn't equal an insta-kill.
I mean, no, it does not. And I mean, as we've seen this in the comics, it just kind of puts him at a disadvantage. It doesn't completely it's not like kryptonite.
Right.
All right, so I get it. But you're asking who's more OP. I'm going to say Santa.
Santa's
Santa.
more OP than Superman.
I'm going to say Santa. Johnny Rose,
Yes.
where do you fall on this debate?
Oh, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't even know where my head is at on this one. I mean,
It is actually a tough one. I'm gonna firmly say Santa,
Firmly.
but this could be the ugliest fight of Superman's entire career.
Superman would big body Santa. I gotta say that right now.
Like this might be like the Doomsday. This might be worse than the Doomsday Superman fight. Like this might be like the nastiest, worse than Shazam versus Superman on Justice League Unlimited. This might be the nastiest fight Superman has ever had in his life. Yeah, I don't know, Johnny.
I mean, I don't know. We could always go to the DC Comics Presents number 67 to show Superman and Santa Claus in the same issue to find out what happens.
I mean, do they actually know? Now that I think about it, they don't actually fight. I don't think.
Probably not.
In this particular comic or in general?
In general, I was actually thinking about it for a second. I was like, do these characters fight each other? But no, I don't think they've ever fought each other in a comic before.
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine somebody wants to see Santa out there throwing punches in there.
Well, clearly,
I do, right?
And now I kind of want to see
Speak
it
for
too.
yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. Where do you fall on this, Ashton?
I don't even know. I asked the question without thinking how I thought about it. Like, I feel the need to play devil's advocate because you've chosen Santa.
I feel like that's not where your heart lies, though. If you chose Superman,
I could defend it. I totally could.
Okay. All right.
I'm just thinking about like to what extent can Santa leverage his other abilities, right? Like he's got a sack of infinite presents, endless list of everybody on the planet. Oh, and then also Superman's not a human, so he doesn't have to be on the nice or naughty list. Does it extend to aliens?
Interesting. That's a good point.
Now, I'm not sure if that matters.
You know what? I'm going to say no. It does. You know, that's a very interesting point. I'm going to say no. It does not extend to aliens.
Okay, so Superman's not accounted for in Santa's list.
Well, I mean, but he's been on Earth since like he was like barely could talk.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that he probably would have been on the list at some point. He probably would have been on a nice list, I imagine.
I would think so.
I would think so. Yeah, maybe not Henry Cavill Superman, but man, you know, let's just go to it, Johnny. Like, is Santa more OP than Superman?
Oh, Superman's got super strength.
But I feel like Santa does too.
Does Santa have super strength?
I feel like Santa has super strength.
What makes you say that?
I just feel like he would. Like,
he's got reindeer, the ability to travel the entire world in like 12 hours, endless sack of presents, the world's longest list that you never actually see, an entire army of elves, the happiest marriage on Earth. He doesn't get cold in the North Pole. Like, why does he need super strength?
Well, okay.
Why does he need that? He doesn't.
So, all right. I mean, if we
the ability to reverse burgle people's houses.
Reverse burgle people's houses. Well, you know what? Here's the thing, right? We got to talk about this in comic book terms, right? First of all, you can look at the elves as henchmen.
Sure, of course.
Right? Like, and a military operation on some level. A militaristic operation on some level, right?
Sure.
Santa Claus, religious zealots who believe in his cause. Right, so that's already a little concerning.
It's a cult.
He's definitely magic because the elves are magic.
He's totally magic. That's not even debate.
Magic.
Yeah, 100% magic.
He definitely has super elasticity.
Oh God, yeah.
Because he can go down chimneys.
Yes.
Right, so already that right there kind of gives him at least something to do in a fight against Superman.
Right.
Right. I'm gonna say, that he has like a monster metabolism.
I was actually just thinking that too, like stomach capacity.
The cookies in the milk. Like, he's clearly got an amazing metabolism.
Right.
Which makes me think that he probably has super strength.
Okay. I can see how you arrived there. I can see how you arrived there.
That's where I'm going with it. This is where Marvel trading cards of the 90s pay off. You start thinking about these things.
See, now I'm starting to think that Santa just has all the powers of the Justice League kind of wrapped into one.
He is the Justice League.
He's super strong because he has to carry that huge sack of presents, which, by the way, I'm assuming that the presents just materialize out of nowhere. Green Lantern's power, just, makes presents materialize out of nowhere.
Powered by your mind.
Yep. So
I mean, there's maybe a little bit of I don't know. Would that be telekinesis? What would that be? I don't know. But also, I got to point out the sack is actually kind of like a transdimensional portal, right?
It is.
That's Time Lord technology.
That's Time Lord technology, right? So, I mean, Santa could get the jump on Superman, put him in the sack, and then Superman could be on like, I don't know, Mars.
Hold on. How is he gonna get Superman in the sack?
I mean,
so how big is Superman? Right? He's like 6'4", easy. He's buff. He's absolutely jacked.
But the
he's gonna pick him up and just like.
No, I'm thinking it's okay. In my mind, this is how I saw it. Okay, in my mind, Superman is on the roof looking for Santa. Right?
Okay. All right. Yeah. You're doing one of these. He's doing cape blowing in the wind.
Right. Cape blowing in the wind. Santa jumps down from like, I don't know, his sleigh, right, with the sack. Right? And then just parachutes down and just covers Superman. And then Superman is like, what, huh? And the next thing you know, he's on the other side of like the universe.
Right.
That's how I see it.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Send him back to the North Pole to wreck Santa's workshop.
I mean, I'm thinking he puts him somewhere else entirely. Like, not even the North Pole. Although I guess, maybe that might be a thing though. Maybe the sack is limited
Doesn't it go to like where the presents are, which is the workshop?
Yeah. That sucks for Santa then.
It does suck for Santa. The only place you could put Superman is near your wife, which seems like a bad angle.
That could get interesting. Also,
we got to vote.
Mrs. Claus is magic too, right? I mean, comments, right? Yeah, okay, so... All right, yeah, look, we got to vote because, oh man, it's 2:55. All right.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say absolutely. Absolutely? We're going to do absolutely?
65.9% of people agree.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, that's actually closer than I would expect it. So yeah, I'm into that. All right. We got any comments on this that we can run real quick?
Yeah, let's see. Ilya's checking in. Do not get me started on the ridiculousness of this question. Superman is technically energy, therefore can never be defeated. Superman wins every time and always.
Interesting. Do we know some? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. He
And
has
then
energy.
Nick Franco is saying what we said earlier, Santa is magic, which is one of Superman's weaknesses.
Get out
Thank
of
you.
here.
Thank you, Nick.
I'm having flashbacks to the Superman Thor
debate.
discussion.
Good, as you should, because that still stands.
No.
I don't care what Justice League versus Avengers says.
Thor would get wrecked with his own hammer.
No.
Superman would end that.
No. I mean, he did, which is, I still think it's BS, because that definitely happened in JLA Avengers. Anyway, all right, let's jump over to Comic Shop shout out real quick. So we
All
can get out of
right.
here.
This week's Comic Shop shout out goes to 5280 Comics and Games in Littleton, Colorado. Do we have who it comes from, Johnny?
I'm looking for it. Carry on.
Carry on. Okay, well, we'll show you some pictures inside of 5280 Comics at the end of the show during the credits roll, so you can get a sneak peek inside of their shop. If you want us to shout out your local comic book shop on the show, find us on social media, tag your shop. If they don't have a handle, just leave their name, and use the hashtag #SupportYourLCS. We'll find your local comic book shop, shout them out on the show, and give them some love.
Whew, man, you burned through that. That was good.
Thanks.
I found it, by the way.
Okay.
Oh, yeah?
It is. Here we go.
Harvey.
Harvey McCarthy.
Thanks, Harvey.
Is it, so 5280, like, is that the address, or maybe there's some significance to that number?
Guessing it's probably the address.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I mean, that's a way to name your comic shop. That's true. Real quick, I want to point out a couple of things on PREVIEWSworld.com. I got to do a interview with Peter Milligan about Sacrament. You know, I'm a Peter Milligan fan. I've talked about American Ronin on the show. I've talked about Absolution. He has this really interesting book out right now from AWA that is literally The Exorcist meets Alien.
Nice.
So it's a sci-fi horror story about a priest who goes to a space colony to perform an exorcism. Of course things go horribly wrong. It's a 5-issue miniseries. It's from AWA. Issues 1 and 2 are already out now, and I think 3 is about to drop in a couple more weeks.
Okay.
Artwork's really cool. I like the artwork a lot. I know you're a big fan of the
Plague Doctor.
The Plague Doctors, right? I think that's a good look as well. Just interesting and cool. I'm definitely going to pick it up. Marty told me that he picked it up just because he read the interview this week. Just right for the season. Just different enough, not just a slasher story, but also like a sci-fi horror thing. Perfect to pick up for the season. It's in comic shops now. Also, there was a Judge Anderson PX item that went up on the site this week that I wanted to point out. It's a bike and Judge Anderson. Like for those of you unfamiliar, Judge Anderson is the other judge that is not Judge Dredd, right? Of course, there's a bunch of people inside Mega City that are judges, and Judge Anderson is like probably one of the more reoccurring characters. She was also in the movie. And she comes with a bike on top of that, which is actually pretty cool. And this is done with Rebellion, 2000 AD, Hiya Toys. This is official merch, and it's going for $70. It'll be in comic shops on, I don't think that's right. May 31st, 2023 seems wrong. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. But definitely get your orders in, because the orders should be in now. All right? And that's available to pre-order through Previews World Pull Box. And that is it for Previews World Weekly.
Johnny, did I do an okay job staying in frame?
Yes, you did.
Great.
He didn't slide out of frame. I am one of your hosts, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
I'm your other host, Ashton Greenwood.
And we'll see all of you at the Skinner Rack?
Nope.
Skinner Rack. It's perfect for Halloween, though. Spinner Rack. We'll see you guys later.
Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to Previews World on all of our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, Tinder. Wait, is that not a thing?